Hey there, my name is Anthony Romano, and I'm going to tell you how to build muscle and lean bulk on a ketogenic diet. So, if you've ever done a ketogenic diet before, for long enough, chances are you don't want to stop. If you're new to it and you've only done it for a couple weeks, maybe you're not there yet, but if you have been fat adapted on a keto diet and know what that feels like, you probably don't want to go back. And if you want to still keep building muscle, not only is a keto bulk possible, but it's just as effective as a carb-based bulk. So by the end of this video, I'm going to tell you how to do one, that it's just as effective as a regular carb bulk. So I just said that one right there. Now you know. I'm going to tell you how to do one and the types of ways you can do one and a couple tricks for keto lean bulking. Just a little bit of background first. I've been doing the ketogenic diet for 7 years now. I've been bodybuilding all throughout that time, and I've had great results doing all different kinds of diets that are keto related, whether it's dieting goals of fat loss, muscle gain, or both at the same time. Overall, whether it's for maintenance of health or bodybuilding goals, you can use a ketogenic diet and you don't have to have any doubts or hesitation about that. So I was talking to a buddy of mine. He was asking me about how to bulk on keto and really if it's as simple as it seems, and it is. It's as simple as it seems, and if you're somebody who's already doing keto, then it's something that you could just start tomorrow if you want. If you're somebody who's never done keto before, then starting a keto bulk might be a little strange for you, and it might not be the best for you because you're going to get the best results of a keto bulk when you're fat adapted. So if you've done a keto diet before, you're more likely to get fat adapted quicker. So the number one step is try to get fat adapted. So keto diet terms, this is basically do keto for longer than a month. If you've ever done keto throughout the year or occasionally, chances are, even if you're like an athletic person, you'll get fat adapted a lot quicker. So fat adaptation is when your body gets very effective at burning fat for fuel, and basically you're going to be burning fat all day long for energy, and your body's going to store carbohydrates in your muscles, and that will allow you to hit higher amounts of weights and higher training intensities. So it's going to get those carbs from excess proteins and from the greens and vegetables you're eating in your diet. So you don't actually have to consume any carbohydrates. Now, the actual process of a keto bulk is literally increase your calories, eat keto foods, train. That is the requirements in general. You're going to want to be in a calorie surplus. However, you don't necessarily have to do a large calorie surplus. 500 calories is adequate enough, and I generally don't like doing any sort of bulk anymore that is too high in a surplus of calories. There's many reasons for this, but overall, a keto diet for bulking purposes is going to result in a lot leaner gains. So they are going to be a little slower, but you're going to have just as much insulin necessary to build muscle. And this is typically why people tell you need to bulk with carbs. It's mainly because of the effects of insulin in your body and how it basically transports nutrients into your body, and too much insulin can cause fat storage. So on a keto diet, overall, you're not going to have as much insulin in your blood. You're going to get insulin from eating any food, but protein and fat is far less insulinogenic compared to carbohydrates, and this is where you're just going to be getting the right amounts. And you have to think of this too as like an efficiency thing here, because the more insulin sensitive you are, so this is your sensitivity to insulin, this is a good thing. You want to be insulin sensitive. The more sensitive you are, which a keto diet will make you, it will make you more insulin sensitive. Basically, the less requirement you have for eating insulinogenic foods, because this means that your body is going to produce just enough insulin to transport the nutrients into your muscles in your body for muscle building goals. So not only is keto going to reset your insulin sensitivity and make it far more efficient and effective, but it's going to result in a lot less fat gain in your bulk. So as long as your calories are high enough and your protein is adequate, at least 20% of your calories, and you're training hard and increasing your strength every week, this is how you can keto bulk. I've done it plenty of times, and I actually like to end off my keto diets for fat loss with a bit of a keto bulk. I'll try to increase the calories slowly and then eat at maintenance and then eat at a surplus. And basically, if you're coming from a keto diet for fat loss, this is a great way to start the muscle building phase. It basically will allow you to get steady energy and build muscle in a natural way, because the way that humans built muscle in times over hundreds and hundreds of years ago was not because of the access to grains. It was not because of the access of sugars or carbs, because those things would only be available half the year, basically, when they were in season, when you could farm, or there was no ability to ship fruit across the world when it was out of season. So muscle building had to come from a result of eating enough and training hard. I personally think the biggest factor is going to be strength training. So increasing your strength every week if you can, adding a couple reps onto your big compound lifts, and trying to increase that strength every week. Muscle is a byproduct of strength, and time under tension is, so basically time under tension and the overload principle. This is what's going to make muscle. So it's going to break down more muscle fibers and expose your body to higher stimulus through the strength training. So that component right there is going to provide you all of the muscle breakdown, and then we just have the replenishing phase, so the nutrients that you're eating. If you're eating good quality animal products, good amounts of fats, good amounts of protein, and good enough calories, your body is not only going to need less calories to grow, but it's going to feel better, and you're not going to add as much fat. The nutrient density of high quality animal foods is great for building muscle because it contains more of the fat soluble vitamins. This is vitamin A, E, D, and K. And vitamin D is so important. It actually is like a hormone in your body. You can get it from fatty animal foods and things like eggs. So when you're eating higher amounts of these things, basically it's going to give your body a state where it doesn't necessarily need extra food. Because when you think about, a bulk, you're typically just throwing in extra calories and extra energy just to say, God damn it, body, grow. That's basically what you're doing. You're basically just trying to do everything you can to get more energy. But it's not about the energy. It's about how effective the energy is. And if you're eating nutrient-dense foods and getting a slight calorie surplus and training hard enough, you're going to be able to replenish those muscles at a more effective rate. Not only is your insulin sensitivity going to be higher, so that's going to increase your body's ability to distribute those nutrients, but you're going to be eating more nutrient-dense animal foods. And, you might not be somebody who likes to eat animal foods, but it is going to be more effective. So eating those fatty, which are higher calorie foods, and high protein foods at the same time is basically going to be a recipe for building muscle. This is how all the golden era bodybuilders would diet. If you look up Vince Gironda, he was a classic golden era trainer, and he would have people on the steak and eggs diet. That was a cutting diet. There was also the 36 eggs a day bulking diet that he would do, and this guy was viewed as a genius basically in golden era bodybuilding nutrition. And a lot of the stuff he said then in the 70s and 60s checks out now, but at the end of the day, getting those healthy sources of fat, healthy sources of cholesterol, and healthy sources of fat soluble vitamins is going to help your hormone production, your testosterone. I have a video on that as well, and basically give your body adequate nutrition to build muscle. So at the end of the day, all it comes down to is having good enough calories, good enough protein, training hard, and nutrient dense foods, which is generally a byproduct of keto dieting. So those three are going to be the primary driver of muscle gain and lean muscle gain during a keto bulk. So I hope this gave you a little more clarity on keto bulking. I'll make more videos on this in the future, but for now, this one is going to be this general intro to it all, and that's a pretty good summary of everything you need to know in general. So there are other ways you can do keto bulking, like a targeted ketogenic diet, which is basically a keto diet that uses carbs just before your main workouts. However, that is not necessarily the best way to do a keto bulk. I tend to take my keto bulks as doing a regular keto diet for most of the time at a calorie surplus, and if there's ever a day where I feel like I particularly want a carb source, then I'll eat one before a workout. So that is in general the gist of a targeted keto bulk. However, there are a lot more details into that. Basically, you're going to want to get your carbs only from fast digesting sources, so no fructose, which is a fruit sugar, and optimally dextrose, which is a fast absorbing sugar, and glucose is also optimal. So basically you'd be eating things like white rice, starchy carbs, oatmeal, cream of wheat digests a little faster, so that's my preferred carb source. But in general, the targeted ketogenic diet is a topic for another video, but it is another method of lean bulking with a keto diet if you are so inclined to do one. So I'll make another video on targeted keto, but just so you know, there are two main ways to do a keto bulk, which is that standard ketogenic diet with heavy training and adequate calories, optimally after being fat adapted, and then you have the targeted keto approach, which is basically using carbs strategically around your workout times, even though that's not necessary. So basically, even if you know anything about the targeted keto diet, you can basically do the standard ketogenic diet and then every now and then throw in a carb meal. That's another way to do it. So, and one way that might make it a little more something you might want to tinker with. So, thank you for watching. Click the little notification bell, subscribe to me, and ask me as many questions as you want. I'll get back to you. Peace.